From a Dan Trachtenberg tease all the way to an animated ending of a movie that probably hints towards a sequel. And judging by the first movie's success, why not, right? After all, the flintlock pistol eventually has to find its way to the Predator 2 movie from 1990. And with that in mind, stick with me to take a first look into the still not confirmed Prey 2 or the Predator 6 movie, whatever you like to call it. Not much is known about Dan Trachtenberg's Prey and the much anticipated sequel that everyone is counting on after seeing how its predecessor played out. Just days after the debut of the movie on the Hulu streaming platform, it became the #1 premiere, including all TV series and film debuts up until now. The movie received a lot of success around the globe as well, with the people of South America and all across Europe showing much appreciation about the Predator prequel. So, given all of this success and positive reviews, according to my educated guess, I think the sequel is simply given, and you will have to wait just a little bit longer. Speaking to The Hollywood Reporter about how far ahead is the director of the movie, Dan replied with a simple but meaningful comment, who said that he looked as far ahead as he could, even before the script was finished for the first movie, with him adding that the Prey movie was probably one of the few movies that made up until now was not intended to have a sequel, which is a topic of change at any given moment. Just the process of making the movie as a standalone movie and not part of the several movies in succession concept made all things easier and simplified in order for the movie itself to be the best iteration possible. Dan did not leave many doors open for any future installments of the franchise. However, the post-credit scene surely brings a lot of questions along with it, something I will talk about a little bit further in the video. So make sure you stick through it, as there might have been some details you missed that I managed to find. And don't worry, I will not keep them away from you, so stay tuned. So, without further ado, let me dive right into all the things that could come along with the still unconfirmed Prey sequel. As a side note, there will be spoilers up ahead regarding the first movie story and its post-credit scene, so beware. And with that in mind, let's dive right in. Acting as a prequel, the movie itself brought both the English and the Comanche language into the story. A story set in 1719, back where it all began, with the movie establishing the scene for all the future Predators the world has seen so far in the Predator franchise. Prey's heroine Naru, portrayed by Amber Midthunder, is a young Comanche woman who smashed that like button if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, she aspires to become a hunter, but faces a lot of judgment because she is a woman and tries to prove everyone wrong. She and the people from her tribe notice that something strange is happening in the forest that poses a far greater danger than any bear or wolf ever before. So, determined to protect her people, she goes on a mission and discovers the Predator, a creature not from her world. One of the main things I noticed about the first movie is the fact of the setting, how it returned to the basics, a familiar jungle setting that hints towards a new reinvigoration of the Predator series, with the Prey movie bringing new life to one of the longest-standing franchises so far. Thus, with all of the positive thoughts regarding the first movie, where could a potential Prey sequel even take you? Well, let's find out. The sequel has not officially been given the green light. However, because of all the comments and the success the first movie had, I think it is a given that we are all going to get a sequel. Dan's enthusiasm for where the movie could potentially take the franchise next is surely a thing to have in mind. Not only because of every new thing we could possibly see, but also because of how the story of a potential sequel could tie with the Predator franchise itself moving forward. With the response to the first movie being quite positive, I think Hulu and the makers of a potential sequel will not waste a lot of time figuring out whether they would like to release a sequel or not. Thus, seeing all the factors at hand, a sequel should not release before 2023, with 2024 and 2025 probably being the years in which we might get Prey 2. The first movie was filmed from May 2021 ahead of its release on August 5, 2022. Hence, a similar timeline could put the movie for a theatrical release as soon as 2024, and not before. And keep one eye open for any confirmation about the rumored sequel that I have been talking about by now. The Prey movie was not only shy to add a hefty amount of body count, which is why I think a sequel could bring in a lot of new characters and a lot of new actors respectively to portray those characters. However, it is a no-brainer that Amber Midthunder's Naru would be the one to lead the charge once again if a sequel happens. Unfortunately for Naru, however, will be her brother's Void he left behind, as Dakota Beaver's Tabby was killed in the first movie by the Predator. Another family member who could join Naru is her mother Aruka, with Michelle Thrush once again put in the role. Regarding how the story will go in the sequel, another potential return could be that of Julian Black's Antelope's war chief Kahito, judging by the fact of Naru being a fully fledged hunter when the sequel hits, and him being there to show her his respect for the things that she has done for her tribe. One thing I would not like to see is the jump in the timeline, which has also been another concern of mine, as many theories and speculations have suggested that the sequel could potentially skip forward in the timeline, which means that all of the cast members we have seen so far get replaced with a whole new casting group. The Predator character was portrayed by former basketball player Dane Diliegro, and even though his character was killed, it should not mean that he would not be back to smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. But to be honest, seeing how good his first cameo with the alien race went, I am more than sure that he would be up to portray another character from the alien race in a future installment or two. As I said before, and as Dan explained of how the movie was filmed with the intention of it being largely a self-contained story, there is not really a post-credit scene that could hint towards a sequel and what the sequel story could entail. However, as the animated credits started to roll out and the story itself was retold, many of the viewers noticed that there was a tease of Naru and her camp staring at incoming Predator ships, which could be a sign that another Predator is on its way. Something that could easily be set up, seeing how the Predators are hunting for fun to gather trophies of some of the most powerful beings in the entire universe, and seeing Naru prove herself as one worthy adversary, then I assume that more Predators would want to take their shot. The other more notable thing all of you should keep in mind, and many of you have already pointed out, is the fact that Naru comes into possession of the flintlock pistol, a significant object that precedes this movie, as we have seen. Probably the same pistol, judging by the identical inscription in the second Predator movie, when Grayback handed it to Mike Harrigan at the end of that movie. This could point out to the story progressing towards the first Predator movie, or when we saw the pistol on the big screen, and the sequel telling a story of its importance as it got passed down to generations, and for it to end up in the franchise that made the Prey prequel movie even possible in the first place. Whatever the case may be, if a sequel gets confirmed, we will surely get even more action, especially now that Naru is a more experienced hunter than when she faced an alien from another world, which could then set up the Comanches or other people that inherited the land to face another Predator if the franchise decides to make a time jump in the timeline, with the main antagonist of the story somehow getting a hold of the flintlock pistol. That is one of the most significant details in the franchise as a whole. See you in the next video.